Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I want to shout out a few people. First of all, our venue, The Rick. We're very excited to be here for the first time. We've got Kiki behind the bar. If you get a drink from Kiki, please be very generous. Kiki loves tips. We got John at the door. John, if you're still standing at the door, give up. Come join us. Folks, we have a really exciting lineup for you tonight, including some never-before-seen performers for Cliterary Salon. We have some newbies. Hooray for new blood. So the theme of this month's show is Love is Gross. We figured the day after Valentine's Day, you could either be just fully high on the rush of being in love, or you're totally over it. Either you're in love or you're not, and either way, it's disgusting. So as you can tell from the way that I'm dressed tonight, I will be playing the part of love. Thank you. Yes, that does mean I am gross. Thank you. The way that I've chosen to express my grossness is I'm going to introduce each of our performers tonight with a love letter that I wrote for them myself. Folks, it gets so much grosser than you think. Our first performer tonight is here on her birthday, for which Cliterary Salon co-producer Maggie Takuda Hall has thoughtfully made macarons and vegan birthday cake. If you can brave to the front of the bar and get some, they are for sharing. Yay, Maggie! And now for intro by love letter. I am an extremely fancy bitch and my love letters are sealed with wax, because I like to pretend that I'm the Pope, you know, who doesn't? Dear Lauren, you are the cat who claws my furniture, who steals my hair clips, who seduces my girlfriend, and then drags in a half-dead bat just to remind me that you have claws. But it's all worth it when you purr murderously in my ear and remind me that I do too. Fearfully, Meg. Folks, give a great big welcome to tonight's first performer, birthday girl, Lauren Parker.
Thank you, Meg. I feel so loved and seen all over. Alright, so what about love? Because, well, love is gross. Everyone awoke on a Tuesday, and love no longer existed. The people of Earth had been sure it was there yesterday, but yesterday was a Monday, and who could ever really remember a Monday? Traces of love were evident, marriages were still legally binding, parent-teacher conferences were still on the calendar, Tinder still existed, and dinner reservations were maintained, but love was gone. Vanished. No, not vanished. There was a bit of a hole where it had been, like indentations on a couch or a brick fallen out of a wall. Everyone noticed, but was too embarrassed to say anything. For weeks, no one mentioned that they were all incredibly detached from their lovers, children, family, and friends. They didn't hate them, of course, but felt a fancy sort of indifference that filtered over every interaction they had. They still tried to love in theory. They said they loved over and over again, but the numbness had set in. At first it was okay. It was a strange, flexible space, and everybody wandered around with so much more clarity. Without the distractions of infatuation, things were a pleasant type of calm. There was less road rage. The teenage pregnancy rate had dropped, and everyone had time to finally take up that hobby they'd been neglecting. Scrapbooking, needlepoint, table hockey, all became top attractions. But all of those things were just a little bit less. What seemed like a distracting obstacle that had been removed became a heavy fog that filled the heads of Earthlings. Amy, a cashier at a Dollar Tree in North Dakota, noticed it immediately. She rose one morning to find bird singing, something that she'd enjoyed her whole life, even going so far as to listen to a few lectures on bird calls at the community college, and they left her unmoved. There was no music anymore. Austerity had settled in naturally, filling the space that love left. Amy remembered vaguely what it was like to love. She rode around in her car, scanning the radio, but there were no songs, just static noise cackling. She didn't even have the ability to pine for love, just knew something important was missing, and now there was no desire to search for it. The months slunk by. People were more productive, but miserable. The government jumped this immediately, celebrating the new industrial generation, so committed to their work that they never bothered to engage with anything other than the menial purpose of doing their jobs. It appeared it wasn't just romantic love that had fled into the night, but also any attachment to passion or joy. Movie theaters, concert halls, and clubs closed almost immediately. Fine dining and art museums shuttered their doors, and soon everywhere was a wasteland of love, once had, and then lost. People started to abandon their families in droves. With nothing tying people together, humanity was starting to drift apart. Amy's next-door neighbor started burning down houses. She counted the days and figured she had about a week before he would make it down the block to her house. She wasn't immune to desperation. She started to go to the gym, and she would get on the treadmill only to stay on it until her teeth clenched with exhaustion. She needed to feel something, and the dizzy sensation of dehydration was close enough. She still flipped through the radio, hoping that snatches of musical notes would drift out instead of the whisper of newsreels. By the end of the year, what had replaced love was rage and righteousness. Every decision was made in a vacuum. Empathy was the trespass of the week, and the fires never went out. The rate of crime spiked so high, people stopped to pretend there were legal channels at all. Everyone was out for themselves. Amy stopped going to work. Her car had been stolen, and she had to board up her windows and make the place look abandoned. There was a narrow sliver of time between 5:30 and 6:15 a.m. where she could leave the house unobserved and get a bit of air. The water fountain in front of the public library had been tagged with "Love Civilized Us." She walked past it every morning. Where did love go? Aliens. They had soaked it out of humanity because humans had all seemed so miserable. Over time, however, the aliens bobbing around in their spaceship were rapidly realizing their mistake. "Do we think we should go down and gather some data?" asked the intern. The intern, Genevieve, was hoping for a promotion, and had always wanted to meet a human up close. They were tired of cleaning out petri dishes and were hoping to finally get their tentacles dirty. The lead scientist wasn't so sure about this. Genevieve begged for 2 weeks straight, popping up from behind corners, knocking on the door when the lead scientist was in the bathroom. This is just as rude in space as it is on Earth, FYI. And interrupting them during designated quiet time. Persistence paid off, and Genevieve soon found themselves jettisoned from the spaceship for an afternoon to explore Earth, but in actuality to give everyone some peace and quiet. It was 5:45 a.m. in North Dakota when Genevieve drifted smack dab into Amy. Genevieve adjusted their breathing hose. "Hello," Genevieve said, waving a tentacle. "Hello," Amy said back. "I haven't been able to talk to anyone in so long. I just realized that." "Yes, we've noticed a bit of a communication breakdown that we didn't predict." Just then, Amy's neighbor had finally gotten to her house and started dousing it in kerosene while maniacally laughing. Both Amy and Genevieve looked at each other and shrugged. Amy wasn't entirely sure which eye she should look into, but settled on the one on the far right, as the others were spinning in all directions. "You did this, huh?" Amy pointed at the empty houses, the burning rubble of her hometown. Genevieve wasn't really sure how to conduct an interview with a test subject. They decided to be honest. "We thought we were doing you a favor. You all seemed so incredibly miserable before. Mating and family structures were making an overwhelming percentage of the population incredibly depressed. Holidays were a total nightmare. Your levels of extreme discomfort spiked." "Yeah, but it turns out it was pretty important after all," Amy said. She wondered if she should be crying. She felt like she should want to cry. She hadn't cried in ages. Nothing seemed to leave a lasting impression except physical pain. She had taken to sticking a safety pin under her pinky nail to break up the monotony. "Do you miss it? This thing that makes you all so upset?" Genevieve asked. "I think feeling upset is probably what made us feel alive," Amy said. "I'm gonna go try to stop my neighbor from burning my house down." Genevieve watched Amy cross the singed lawn and punch her neighbor in the face. Dropping him to the ground, blood poured from his nose. Humans were very rough creatures, Genevieve decided. The experiment concluded. Attempts to turn Earth back the way it was were voted down. Too much had happened, the lead scientist decided. "I don't really think we should leave them like this," Genevieve insisted. The lead scientist was using their tentacle-held transporter to send the crew home and was just a little tired of Genevieve's moral fortitude. Genevieve, most of their population is dead anyhow. We knew it was over as soon as all those sovereign citizens started moving out to the woods. 2 million people dead in a fortnight. So we're just gonna call Earth a lost cause? The lead scientist shrugged one of their many sets of shoulders. Yes. Now hold still. My battery is low and it's getting dark. Aww. And that was the end of Earth. It ended on Tuesday. Thank you.
It's her birthday, but she gave us the gift.
Yes.
Remember, I love is Gross. Lauren Parker is a co-producer of Cliterary Salon and a co-host of the Glow the Distance podcast. She's the winner of the Rachel Linsky Prize for Poetry, got her BA in creative writing from Hiram College, and is a fixture of the Bay Area lit scene. Lauren, if people want more of your work, where can they find you?
Okay, so this is a little unconventional, but I'm doing this weird thing this month because it is my birthday. I'm 30. I love old fashions in the event you were curious. I'm doing this thing where if you DM me your address, I'll write you a personalized steamy love letter because I think we should love our friends to their fucking faces. And so if you want to find me on Instagram and send me your address, I will write you a corny letter. If that breaks up your relationship, that is not my fault. So I'm at Fuck Yeah Lauren Parker on Instagram. You don't have to follow me, but I recommend it because I'm really cute. And give me money on Patreon. Thanks.